Viddal Riley's next opponent should be his toughest challenge yet. He is hoping to fight Isaac Chamberlain for the British Cruiserweight belt in what will undoubtedly be a very challenging match for Viddal. Whereas Viddal is undefeated, Chamberlain has lost twice to former champion Lawrence Okolie and current champion Chris Billam-Smith. He was dropped twice by Okolie. He was not dropped by Billam-Smith, and he got a lot of credit for the Billam-Smith win. It was a 12-round war, and it really pushed Chris Billam to the edge. And it's one of the fights that people look back on and say, oh, that fight really helped him become a champion. And obviously, Viddal and Chamberlain both have the same last opponent in Mikael Lawal. They both approached him slightly differently. Chamberlain worked on the inside a bit more and just mauled him, really, really fought him. And Lawal had no answers. Whereas Viddal Riley, who broke his rib in the first round, how much that affected his game plan, we don't know. But Viddal basically hit and didn't get hit, kept him, kept the range, jabbed him, kept moving. And although some people called it boring, the boxing purists would have loved it. He clearly, both fighters clearly won. There was no controversy in the results of the unanimous decisions on points. And I think both fighters are at the level where the fight makes sense. Chamberlain, does he want, if he wants a shot at that world title or a European, he's going to want to have to build back up and, defend that British belt again against Viddal, who, has a lot of clout, has a lot of followers. He's a very good boxer, boxer the Olympics. So I think all around the fight makes sense. It'll be an interesting clash. Viddal has a lot of skills. He's a very all-rounded fighter. He can, he can fight, he can brawl, he can hit hard, but he can also box at range, box long, choose his shots well. He's got a good chin. He's never been dropped. He can hit hard. And Chamberlain, he has a real heart. He's a warrior. He has more experience than Viddal. He's been in there with former champions. He's got a lot of 12-rounders under his belt. He knows how to fight. He likes hard fights. He enjoys fighting people. He enjoys brawling. There's been a lot of trash talk, a lot of build-up. So all in all, it is a very exciting fight, and I'm hoping it happens. It could be derailed by Chev Clark. Obviously, if Chev Clark beats Chamberlain in, they're supposed to fight next, then Clark will probably end up fighting Viddal, and we won't see Chamberlain Viddal. However, I think Viddal has more. It's definitely got more of a build-up. They've had a lot of trash talk. There was that post-fight interview where Viddal was like, "Oh, you were crying after this win. Am I crying?" I thought that was pretty good trash talk by Viddal. And Chamberlain's come back saying you didn't even try and hurt him. You didn't go for him. So there's definitely some rivalry there. There should be a good build-up. Be good face-to-faces beforehand. Or maybe Chamberlain won't fight Chev Clark, which is what Viddal thinks will happen. He thinks Chamberlain's going to duck Chev Clark and he'll end up fighting Chev Clark. So, again, we really don't know until anything gets announced, but I'm hoping that it's going to be Chamberlain. I like Chamberlain. He showed really good heart against Billam-Smith. It was a 12-round war. Billam-Smith looked out of it at the end. A lot of time for him. And obviously Viddal looks really good. He hasn't really been tested yet. He's won. I mean, I'm not saying the fights haven't been difficult, because I'm sure he would have had to, go to a dark place, really persevere, after having the broken rib in the first round against Lawal, make sure you don't get hit there again. And, obviously he's dealt with the pressure of, getting his first belt. So I'm not saying he hasn't had difficult fights, but he's not been in like a 50-50 or like where he's really been challenged. So I think it'll be a good statement for Viddal if he beats Chamberlain comfortably. Billam-Smith might be looking over his shoulder thinking, oh, that's someone I struggle with, and Viddal is just taking care of him quite comfortably. That would be a good statement. Even if it's like a 50-50 and Viddal wins, again, it's going to show that in difficult fights he's got that cutting edge. He can do it. He has got the capabilities to be a world champion, and I think Viddal has definitely got the skill set to be a world champion. But can he deal with the pressure? Can he keep fit? I'm sure he can. As fights get harder as the competition improved. Is he going to crumble? I'm sure he won't, but you know, we've just got to see the journey. We've got to see how far he can go, and yeah, I really hope he can go far. The cruiserweight scene is very exciting at the moment. Billum Smith, Opetaya, Paredes, probably some names I've forgotten in there, but it's looking like a very exciting scene. Obviously, Coley's moving up, isn't he? So yeah, there's a little bit about who Viddal's next opponent is. Hopefully it happens. You know, a credible opponent. Only lost to, you know, 2 world champions, and Viddal undefeated, but less experience. Hasn't been to war as many times as Chamberlain has. But, you know, as I've said, a very good all-round fighter. Has a lot of skills, a lot of capabilities under his belt, a fighter. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the fight. I hope you enjoyed the preview. Like, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.